here you can see which settings we are playing in. So we are currently, the default settings for this game is a ray tracing set to medium, and everything else is set to the maximum possible settings that are there. But ray tracing is on and ray traced reflections are off, and ray traced lighting is also set to medium. It's not set to the maximum settings. 3060 for Cyberpunk I don't think can handle it. DLSS is set to auto. So these are the default settings. I just will click on default once again to show which default settings are. So nothing has been changed. So these are pretty crazy settings for these graphic cards, but I feel there's a catch. You'll see as we play along. So let's see. Now loading the game. Let's see how much time it takes. So it's because of the NVMe drive, it is pretty fast. So I'm loading the game for the very first time. So here you can see it only takes 14 seconds to load the whole game.
So now we are playing game with ray trace reflections on. Everything set to highest possible settings and ray tracing only set to medium, and we are still getting close to 45 FPS. It's pretty good. This is weird.
I like to discuss is the car driving in this game. So it is really weird. The camera doesn't follow the car properly. I have to use my mouse to keep the view correct. So it makes it very difficult to drive it and makes it very weird. So now we have entered into Night City. You'll see suddenly the FPS has dropped from 40 frames per second to down to 22 frames per second, and you can see we are dropping a lot of frames, and this is really problematic. So in the Outlands, it runs perfectly fine with ray tracing because there are very limited number of objects, but now suddenly when the number of objects increase, the laptop is not able to handle this game in ray tracing medium settings. Now we are in Night City and we'll try to play the game set to ray tracing to medium, and DLSS we'll try all the 4 different functions in DLSS, not setting it to auto. So first we'll try with DLSS off. So this game has a weird thing. So whenever I change these settings, the frame rate drops really low, and then it picks up and then it stabilizes. So right now when you are in Night City and ray tracing is on, set to medium, and DLSS is off, the game is really unplayable. It's hardly 17 frames per second, and whenever I'll start running, the frames will drop. So now we'll set the DLSS to quality. Let's see what happens. The temperatures are really high, and maybe because I'm recording the video as well, it takes a hit. So now DLSS is set to quality. We're getting 27-28 frames per second in ray tracing. There are at times the frame rate, there is some amount of stuttering and frame rate does dip at times, but otherwise it's okay. So it is playable with DLSS set to quality, but I would like to have more than 40-45 FPS while playing this game. So let's try other settings. Now DLSS is set to balanced. Let's see. So now you can see that the frame rates have gone up to 30-35 FPS. So the DLSS setting does cause a lot of stuttering in this game. You'll see a lot of dropped frames whenever the DLSS tries to go higher and higher. Maybe because of the video recording, but otherwise the DLSS does cause a lot of drop frames. Let's try performance now. So now in performance mode, you can see we'll gain close to 33-34 FPS. So, and again a lot of drop frames. I'm not really sure whether this is because of video recording or whether suddenly DLSS increasing the amount of DLSS just causes a lot of performance drop. frame drops, sorry. And now ultra performance, you'll see the same issue, a lot of stuttering and a lot of frame drops because the DLSS is set to the maximum possible settings, and the texture quality also gets pretty lowered. So I won't suggest playing with the ray tracing on. I don't think it is will be a very great experience. So next we'll see the best possible settings for playing this game. I have tried playing with different settings, but I feel like the high settings are the best settings to play at. I haven't been able to spot much difference in the textures and everything. Almost most settings are still set to high. So I feel like I was playing the game in high settings and I was getting consistent performance. So once it stabilizes, you'll see that it is pretty decent performance, and keeping DLSS off is better. There are no dropped frames. Whenever I turn the DLSS on, there are a lot of different dropped frames because of that. Maybe because of the video recording, but I find high DLSS off, RTX off is the best settings to play this game at. Even with RTX off, this game has pretty awesome graphics, very crazy detailing, and with the city there are so many objects, rendering it at proper FPS makes it a little difficult. Now once you turn the DLSS to quality, you'll see that we'll have some the FPS gain is there, but some amount of dropped frames are also there. So quality, DLSS set to quality is also one of the options where you can play the game very nicely. It is also pretty nice setting to play the game. Everything else looks good, and coming up to 40 FPS is pretty good for such a game. But this game has crazy graphics, crazy, never seen anything like this. So now DLSS set to balanced. Again, we got some FPS gain, but you'll see we start to drop a lot of frames. I like to try again with a different screen recorder whether we are dropping the same number of frames or not. But suddenly there's a lot of hit on the performance as we are increasing the DLSS. FPS gain is there, but dropped frames also increase, so that is there. Otherwise the game looks really nice, and I feel high settings is the best. So other settings, DLSS performance and DLSS ultra performance are also there, but my suggestion will be to play this game with high settings, RTX off, either DLSS off, or if you want 40-45 FPS, you can play with DLSS set to quality or balanced. Those are the best settings. Next you'll find a video of me playing a gunfight scene with settings 1440p high, RTX off and DLSS off. The game runs pretty smooth in those settings. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like my video. New video at 7 p.m. every Saturday. So enjoy this gunfight scene. Settings high, RTX off, DLSS off. Pretty consistent frame rates. Thank you so much for watching.
Did you hear about that aircraft carrier dumped in New York City? Called Fujita or something?
Let's talk. chingados estás esperando? Point for you! Fucking bombs. Guess that's all of them. Careful now. All cleaned up. Exit's closed. Me, I can spot you. Watch out, the marker. Quick, hide. We're coming for you! Get over here! Put it down! Hell yeah! Come on, V. Let's get out of here.